Hey everyone, what up? Mad Kaiser here, and if you're a Atelier fan, you must be eating really good, as we got a lot of exciting announcements this year that honestly just completely blew my mind away. Man, we Atelier fans are eating a really big buffet with some chicken thighs and some cake, if you will. But as always, let's go through these really two exciting announcements here. But before we begin, if you like what you've seen here, then by all means, like the video, click the subscribe button if you're new, and hit the notification icon if you want more Atelier content and RPG news from yours truly. With that said, let's get back to the video, and start off with what lots of people are really excited about here. Now the first major headline for today is that the Atelier Ryza series, the Secret Trilogy, that being Atelier Ryza 1, 2, and 3, are all getting a DX version. They're getting a full-on deluxe pack, and this deluxe pack will include exclusive content, such as new playable characters and new story elements for each of the 3 titles. Not only that, but this is confirmed to come for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, as well as Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch 2, as well as PC via Steam. Furthermore, we will be getting a new update regarding this trilogy deluxe pack around 4th of August with a special live stream, where we will know about the release date for this, as well as more details about the definitive versions of these games. And yeah, a lot of people are really surprised and really excited about this, especially Ryza fans. Now, for a little bit of context, the Atelier series has been doing these DX versions through the past few trilogies ever since with the R&W trilogy. And what they are essentially definitive versions of those games, where they'll provide, as I've mentioned, new exclusive content like new playable characters and new story cutscenes and elements that really make it the true definitive version of those games. And we have multiple re-releases of these, from the Atelier R&W series to the Dusk series, and the most recent one before this, that being the Atelier Mysterious series that had the DX version. So it's really cool to see them doing, well, keeping tradition and doing one for Ryza, as I think that's honestly awesome. It's a little bit weird in the case for them to do it now, given not only that we have Atelier Yumiya just released, but we also had, obviously, Atelier Ryza 3 came around in 2 years, and even Atelier Ryza 2 was about like 4 years from now, so it's really insane that they are really going to do this. But I still think this is really a big W, and honestly something cool that Atelier Ryza fans are going to enjoy. And also a good move for Koei Tecmo's part, as I do think that for those who got into the Atelier series thanks to Yumiya, they want to try out the next best thing, and well, Ryza is the one that put the series on the map thanks to her thighs, if you will. Now obviously there is a bit of caveat here with this deluxe pack, and that is, of course, it's going to be digital only, and Japan itself is the one that will have a physical version, so you may have to do some importing to get, the physical versions of these, but even with that, I still think it's really cool. I know some are also pushed back, given also that obviously they might have bought the base versions of these games already on sale. So this does seem like a weird, move to make, though I don't think it's as egregious as, say, Falcom with Eastern Nordics, am I right?
What the hell is this?
But honestly, I still think this is still a pretty cool W, especially since anyone who's played these games might also want to check out and double dip, and hopefully maybe have a free upgrade patch or some kind, so that they can, get these without having to pay another $60. But who's to say, really? But I think what really got me excited about this is that this whole collection is actually the first official native release for Switch 2, so I'm really curious about that, as well as I know some of you are also curious about it, given the fact that, well, Atelier games, especially the more modern releases, the newer ones, they've had mixed results on how they run on the base Nintendo Switch. While at Switch 2, we hear some varied results, mainly like Sophie 2 and Ryza 3 running okay, as well as Ryza 2. But Atelier Yumiya still needs some work, I do think, so I do hope even later down the line that Atelier Yumiya does get like a Switch 2 version, as I do think having, slightly better graphics and a much better frame rate for the Nintendo Switch 2 will go a long way in my opinion. But honestly, I still think this is really cool. I can't wait to know what the release date of this is, and I'll keep guys posted when we get more info from that special live stream. And our second major headline will have to be more news on Atelier Resleriana Red and White. And we've got more new characters introduced, as well as new details about the gameplay and the synthesis. Now it says here is that in this quest, they will encounter new and familiar characters from the past Atelier series, such as fan favorite Ryza and her friend Claudia from the Secret series, as well as Aisha from the Dusk trilogy. These characters will interact with Ryza and Slade and help progress through the story. The two main protagonists will engage in turn-based combat against various opponents, while influencing the order of action turns to make the most of their team members' skills. Players will also be able to trigger multi-actions with support characters, allowing them to perform up to 3 actions. Doing multi-skills attacks, players can also use items by using 2 or more in a row to trigger an item mix that will add extra effects, allowing for a unique combination of items. By attacking their opponents, players will also need to fill their Unite gauge, allowing them to benefit from different effects depending on the number of Unites available. For example, 2 Unites or more are filled in. A special Unite attack will automatically trigger when 2 front row characters act consecutively. Once the Unite gauge is completely full, players can also use the 5 Unites to trigger a Unite burst, where all front row characters gain consecutive turns, while the Unite gauge progressively depletes from actions while consuming the Unites. The Unite attacks will also be considerably strengthened, allowing players to deal massive damage to enemies. And once again, it's really cool to see that in this one, they are still using the traditional Atelier style of turn-based combat, which is absolutely a plus, something that a lot of Atelier fans wanted, given the fact that the mainline series has sort of slowly deviated from that direction in the case of Atelier Ryza, and especially Atelier Yumiya's case, where that game is leaning heavily to action in terms of its combat. So them to have a fully fledged turn-based game like this is a nice stress reliever, it's a nice palate cleanser. It's again the equivalent to Sophie 2 as well as Atelier Marie Remake, where those games were still turn-based, so that's really cool. As for synthesized things, we also have more things here, as we also have things like the gift colors, where players will synthesize items by connecting the gift colors of selected ingredients, adding traits to the final item. Some specific ingredients, known as catalyst ingredients, will have particular effects included, allowing fans to synthesize special items. For example, the Altist catalyst ingredient will allow players to determine the gift colors of the next ingredient, while the Iris Stone catalyst ingredient will change the pre-designated category of the next ingredient slot. Adding certain ingredients will trigger a recipe morph and change the recipe being synthesized, allowing players to create new items. By cooperating up to 3 team members or fairies to the synthesis process, players can create items with even more powerful effects, while using Slade's Geist Core, which will allow them to enhance only once an item has already been synthesized. And we also have the exploration side of things. And lastly, during the exploration of the Latana content, players will venture to the dimensional paths, dungeons whose structure will change randomly with each visit. Fans will have to pick up the difficulty of these dungeons, which will change with the enemies they face, the category, and placement of the ingredients they can gather. The higher the difficulty, the more valuable ingredients and rewards are. Fairies can also be encountered, and will give players various useful items, as well as being able to recruit them to work at the Mistletoe Miscellaneous, helping them to sell various synthesized items. And yeah, again, this game really is looking very interesting. As I said in my last video, I think it's really smart for them to do, a fully offline, console spin-off of the Atelier Gacha game, as not many big companies ever do that. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to see on how traditional this game really is, and honestly, this one being a nice stress reliever, especially for those who may not like the direction that Atelier is going, though I do hope that the direction they are going is more refined in its, potential follow-ups. But honestly, yeah, seeing Ryza as well as also Aisha in this is also really cool. And this game is basically the Atelier All-Stars, which is pretty cool, and honestly, I'm really looking forward to this game, especially when it's coming to September. And honestly, we Atelier fans are having a wonderful buffet, as obviously this year alone we had the release of Atelier Yumiya, which was a great success, as well as we also had both Yumiya, Sophie, and even Ryza herself be guest characters in the Warriors Abyss game, which is a really cool surprise. And honestly, I'm glad to see Atelier representation in more Warrior style games. I do hope we even get a fully fledged Atelier Warriors game in the future, as I think that would be really cool. Not only that, but we also have this game to look forward to, as well as the Atelier Ryza Secret Trilogy Deluxe Pack, which honestly is just a major W for Atelier fans. The other thing I think this could be really better is that later down the line we get more announcements, like maybe say 2 more remakes of the Salzburg Trilogy, as we already got one for Marie, like Atelier Ellie and Lily, and maybe a 4th Atelier Dusk game, since we obviously had one for Ireland, as well as the Mysterious Trilogy, so I think Dusk is the right call. And who knows, maybe they could also do more things for Gus related, like maybe give a return to Blue Affection or Knights of Azure, or maybe even, I don't know, maybe even make a brand new original IP. I mean, the possibilities with Gust, and actually even Koei Tecmo in general, are endless, as obviously this is the year for Koei Tecmo in general, and not just for Atelier stuff, but obviously for Warriors, for even Team Ninja's Ninja Gaiden, and as well as the Souls games. Like honestly, this is a major year for Koei Tecmo, and honestly, I'm just thrilled to be part of it. Honestly, this is just absolutely so cool. But that's it for my take. Let me know in the comments of what you guys think about this. Are you guys looking forward to Atelier Resleriana? And what do you guys think about the Atelier Ryza Secret Trilogy Deluxe version? Are you guys going to be picking that up? Especially for Switch 2? I'd love to know. Anyway, special thanks to my patrons, and Mad Kaiser out.